Well, I've just spoken with a member of Catherine Ashton's office. She's the High Representative for Foreign Policy, and he confirmed to me that all 27 member states have adopted the embargo. That's important because decisions on foreign policy in the European Union need to be adopted unanimously. That means all of the countries are behind the idea. He said there will be a review in the beginning of May in 3 months to see how things are going, and then the embargo will begin in full force on July the 1st. Now, why a review? I think it's so that the countries that are heavily dependent on Iranian oil, which is to say Greece, Italy, and Spain, some of the most ailing members of the eurozone, can find new sources of supply. And secondly, to see what steps Iran is taking to come back to the negotiating table.
Nick, there was also talk of freezing the assets of Iran's Central Bank. Where do things stand on that front?
Well, we're waiting for a news conference where we will hear all of the details about all of the measures that have been adopted. But the thinking is that will be adopted as well. The Americans have taken steps beginning on January the 1st to make it impossible to deal with Iran's central bank, essentially banning any American firms from dealing with it. And Europe looks poised to do the same thing. This is important because the central bank is the clearinghouse of sorts for all kinds of oil deals. So that won't just affect EU-Iran dealings, but the dealings that the Iranian Central Bank has with other countries around the world. So it could be a very punishing move.
All right. And going back to the oil ban, Nick, for a moment, there was concern, of course, about the impact that such a ban would have on EU countries that are heavily reliant on Iranian oil, such as Greece, for instance. Is there an alternative? Are there alternatives lined up for these countries once Iranian oil stops coming to them?
There are alternatives. Saudi Arabia can just open the spigots and there will be enough oil to meet the shortfall. However, OPEC members don't like to get involved in politics of this kind or to be seen to be stabbing each other in the back. So whilst European leaders, including David Cameron of the United Kingdom, have been visiting Saudi Arabia in recent weeks, asking for them to turn up their production should there be an embargo on Iran. There's no public statement from Saudi Arabia that it is poised to help pick up the slack, even though everybody suspects that that is what is in the offing.
Okay, Nick Spicer, live for us in Brussels. Thank you, Nick.